Hello, hello. Welcome to KimmelsIrishPub.com. Time for another fantasy update. I know it's only Monday evening. We still have 2 Monday night games to go. And yesterday's performance, I think, across the board was lackluster. There were some big performances from big names, Antonio Brown, for example. But I think it was a very slow day for fantasy football. And I'm assuming, if you're anything like my leagues, there was a lot of low-scoring games. But there's a lot to pull out of it. So although the season started out a little slow, I think there's a lot we can use. So again, instead of saying this player's ranked better than that player, do this, do that, I like to share with you my mindset. So what did I pull out of yesterday? Well, I'm a big advocate for trading, and that's how you make your team better. And you have to know who to go after, when to go after them, and you also have to match up teams. You can't just go after a player and offer another owner something completely outlandish if that owner doesn't need what you're selling. So some of the things that you probably might want to start looking at. One, you want to look at the team that had Allen Robinson. Okay, so Allen Robinson, done for the year. Now there's a couple of owners out there who probably drafted him more than likely as their number 2 receiver, maybe as their number 1, maybe even as their number 3. But you look around your league and see who has him. And then look at your roster. Do you have a decent backup 3rd, 4th receiver that you could trade to them? Or you could even trade them your 2nd receiver and move your 3rd or 4th up your depth chart and try and gain something back. So that's the first thing I would look at. See what you have, see what that owner has. You know, maybe you need some help at running back, and they have a plethora of running backs, and they're now hurt at their receiver. Look at your bench. Look at your receivers, see if there's anything you can do there. Look at the owner for David Johnson. So the jury's still out on what's going to happen with him. You know, you might be able to get David Johnson on your team, or you might be able to supplement his injury with one of your players. So look at those teams and see if there's anything you can gain. Maybe you need help at tight end or quarterback, anywhere like that. Look at these teams. Don't sit back and wait for people to come to you because they need it. Go be proactive. Go after them. Look at the owner with Danny Woodhead. You know, Danny Woodhead, he gets hurt every year. It's unbelievable. I drafted him last year, and you know, immediately he got hurt. Now it's only his hamstring, and they tend to linger, so it's not like an ACL or anything like that. But that owner might need help. They might not have Terrence West or Buck Allen on their team, and they might be looking. You know, if they had Danny Woodhead as their number 2 running back, there might be an opportunity there. Some other people to target, I think. Tariq Cohen for the Bears. Now, very small guy, but he might, you know, be taking a lot of carries away from Jordan Howard going forward. He had quite the day yesterday, so if you haven't seen that, if he's out in your waiver wire, he'll be the number 1 waiver pick. If somebody has him, you more than likely won't be able to get him from them, but waiver wire pick there. Le'Veon Bell. He didn't have such a great game. The owner might be down on him. I know it's probably too early for somebody to sell low, but it's not worth it. You know, it's worth it to try. There might be an opportunity there. The owner might be sour on his performance. Look at that. Marlon Mack had the same amount of carries as Frank Gore. So that's interesting for Indianapolis. Might be another person that you could target to go after there. See if you could buy that a little bit low. You know, 10 carries didn't do a lot, but I think the potential's there. And Kelvin Benjamin. So all preseason he was hyped up. Again, not a great game. The owner might be sour on that person, and you might be able to go get them. You probably can't do trades until after tonight, but there's some of the names that I'm looking at. I'm looking around the league to see if I'm a matchup with those teams, and I think that's what you should too. Who are some of the people that you could use? I think Jordan Howard might be a good time to trade. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. Might be running back by committee. Might be Jordan Howard going forward. Might be Cohen. Who knows? Might be a player that you may be able to parlay to another owner. Todd Gurley. So Todd Gurley probably had a big fantasy day. He was pretty good in the receiving, and he scored a touchdown, which really saved him. But if you look at his rush per yards, he's not getting any better. They continue to either stack the box, or he's just not good enough to get those yards. So it might be a time to sell another owner on the fantasy points that he generated for you, and see if you could target one of the other players that we talked about. And then any Seattle running back, if you have any Seattle running backs, I think you could dump them. Not that they're worth anything to sell, But if you can unload them, I don't think there's a lot of hope there. There's too much going on there. Another name that popped up was Kenny Golladay. I think he's great. If you're in a keeper league, you don't want to get rid of him. But there's a lot of mouths to feed in Detroit, and he was the one who benefited from it. Yes, so did Golden Tate. Was there going to be a lot of games like that? Marvin Jones even scored. Eric Ebron disappeared. So, you know, that's kind of, I think, going to be a rotation. Ebron's going to blow up, and then Golden Tate's going to go away. You know, there's a lot of different things that could happen there. The running game really wasn't there, so they had to stick to the pass. But I think if you're not in a keeper league, you might be able to sell a little bit higher on Golladay and get one of these other players that underperformed yesterday. So just some things, again, trying to play with the thinking. Don't wait for somebody to come to you. If you have some of these players who got hurt, don't wait for somebody to come to you. Go after, get out there, and if you see another team that has a player hurt, go after them. See if you can help them. Don't wait for them to come to you. So that's my advice to you. Hopefully we get some exciting games tonight, and maybe there's something that we can pull out of that. But that's it for now. Tune in another time for KimmelsIrishPub.com. Thanks for watching so far.